Hey friends, how you all doing? So today I will be talking about the tires of the KTM Duke 390 and the RC 390. Both have the same technical specification when it comes to the tires. So many of you all have asked me, what if we do not wish to continue with Metzeler after the stock tires are done with? Which is the best alternate brand that we can buy? Well, this has been a question that even I was thinking about for quite some time. So there are quite a few brands. There is MRF and there are many others. However, the closest competition and the only alternate that we can consider is the Michelin Pilot Street Radial. And till now, Michelin did not make a specific tire for the Duke 390 or the RC 390. However, what they had was the tire which they made for motorcycles from 150cc to 250cc, like the Yamaha FZ16 or the Honda CBR 250R. And the specification of that tire, the rear tire, was 140 by 70 by 70, 140 being the width, 70 being the profile, and 17 being the rim size. However, the stock Metzeler tires of the KTM Duke 390 or the RC 390 are 150 by 60 by 17. So the stock Metzeler is much wider, and also the rim of the KTM Duke 390 or the RC 390 is designed for 150 size tire. Saying that, it does not mean that you cannot go ahead and install a 140 size tire onto either the Duke 390 or the RC 390. You can. So many of my friends and the people that I've known have installed those tires and have been pretty happy with them. So now I will speak a few points on the good things of moving away from Metzeler and going for the Michelin, and not so good things about it. So first of all, why would anyone want to move away from fantastic tires like the Metzeler? They're absolutely good. They are soft compound tires. You can take those tires and do track days and feel extremely confident. You can put them into extreme lean angles. I have personally been onto a racetrack with the Metzeler tires and I loved it. I enjoyed it. So the only reason I would think is if someone is commuting a lot, is touring a lot. For an example, if someone does about 30 or 40,000 kilometers in 1 year, then for their kind of riding, I do understand that Metzeler tires would be quite expensive, because they would be needing about 3 to 4 sets of Metzelers, and that's quite a lot of money, because a set of Metzeler is about 16 to 18,000 rupees, considering the demand and supply. However, the Michelin set would cost half the money and would last twice the time. So considering that the stock Metzeler would do about 10,000 kilometers on the rear tire and about 13 to 14 on the front tire, the Michelin would do, I think, at least 18,000 on the rear and way more than 20,000 on the front. So I do understand it's very beneficial for someone who does a lot of touring and commuting. However, if you are someone who does not do more than 10,000 kilometers a year, and it is possible, there are many people who do only weekend rides. Someone like me, I do touring, but not so much. So I have bought this motorbike, it's been more than a year, and I've only done about 9,000 kilometers on my KTM Duke 390. So for someone like me, I would say it does not make any sense to move away from Metzeler and buy the Michelin, because changing tires, buying new tires one time in a year, that is acceptable. That is what I believe. That is my opinion. You could feel something different. So that's all right. Now, as I said, that the Michelin had 140 size tires till now. However, Michelin has come up with a specific tire for KTM Duke 390 and the RC 390, and that is the exact size of the Metzeler. That is 150 by 60 by 17. Now it becomes even more confusing because earlier you could at least think, well, I don't wish to downgrade the size, so I don't want to move to Michelin, or Michelin is not soft compound. But now, as Michelin has come up with the exact specification of the stock Metzeler, the decision would be even tougher to take, whether to continue with Metzeler or to move to Michelin. However, even though Michelin has made the same specification tires now, and they would fit both the KTM Duke 390 and the RC 390, yet they will not have the same levels of traction compared to the Metzelers, because Metzelers are soft compound. They are like superbike tires. But the Michelin is more like a touring tire, is more like kind of an endurance tire. So the answer remains the same. If you do a lot of miles every year, go for the Michelin, else stick with the Metzeler. And also, one good thing about the 140 by 70 by 17, that size of the Michelin tire is the profile size is much higher. It is 70, not 60. So if you are someone who is doing kind of off-roading, or if you got really bad roads in your city, if you got a lot of potholes, then this can help, because if the profile size is higher, then the tire would absorb more impact from the pothole and your alloy wheels would not crack so easily. So that is one good thing with it. Also, I have seen many people on Facebook who have installed a huge tire onto the KTM Duke 390 rear wheel, and that is a 180 by 55 by 17, and that is, my friends, a superbike tire. So many of you all have asked me, is it advisable to go ahead and install something so huge onto a 373cc motorbike? Well, I would say no. Although you would think that a Metzeler rear tire is costing me 9,000 rupees, but why don't I pay a little more, a few more thousand rupees, and buy a huge superbike tire and fit it onto my KTM Duke 390? Well, although number one, the rim is not designed for it, but you somehow can squeeze it onto the existing rim, yet you would have to do a few modifications onto the swing arm, you would have to remove a few mud guards and do all that. And even after that, remember, it's a huge tire. The footprint of the tire would be much wider. That would increase the rolling friction. So this would mean that your top speeds would go down, the acceleration would go down, and also your fuel efficiency would go down. And in the long run, your chain would be under much higher pressure, your sprockets would be working harder. Everything together, it is not advisable to put such a huge tire onto a motorbike like KTM Duke 390. And that's it. So if you have any questions, do let me know. I was a person who learned how to corner, how to lean on the KTM Duke 390, and today I can put the KTM Duke 390 into corners at 150 kilometers an hour, and I absolutely love it. I'm not sure if I move to Michelin, would I be able to do the same, because, well, you could be having a fast motorbike, the motorbike's engine could deliver a lot of performance, but all the performance, if it has to go on to the road, the tarmac, then you need good rubber. So remember that. That's it, my friends. Have a good day. Bye bye.